You're listening to Online Pet Health Podcasts with Dr. Megan Kelly. Continuing education for veterinarian rehabilitation therapists. Learn more at onlinepethealth.com.
Hey vet rehabbers, today I chat to Amie Hesbach, originally from the United States, but now she is based just outside of Amsterdam. She is a physical therapist and she chats to me about how she had to pivot from doing live lecturing to online, and also how this inspired her to start mentoring vet rehabbers online. So she has created a 6-week clinical mentoring program to specifically help vet rehabbers fine-tune their clinical skills. Now at Online Pet Health, we are also passionate about helping and supporting vet rehabbers in their profession and businesses. And through our 4 Facebook groups, we have a mentor program, which is open to vet rehabbers all over the world. So all you need to do is join one of our vet rehabber Facebook groups. That's the Hydro Vet Rehabbers, Small Animal Vet Rehabbers, Equine Vet Rehabbers, or Business Vet Rehabbers. Check out the pinned post on the group and follow the links to sign up as either a mentor or a mentee. We will pair you up with someone and who will offer you all the support that you need to thrive in your practice. So you might be looking for something a little more structured and focused. Then you can also check out Amie's website, and I will leave all the links to those groups as well as Amie's website in the description. Without further ado, over to Amie. Hey Amie, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi Megan, so nice to see you.
Amie, you're no stranger to the podcast. Can you tell us about your move? Because obviously you used to be based in the USA and now you're based in Amsterdam, and that has changed things a little bit for you on the practice forefront. Tell us about your journey, your move, how long you've been in Amsterdam, and what you're doing at the moment.
Yes, thanks. So we had the opportunity to have an expat experience in Europe, and so we obviously jumped on board. We moved here to the Netherlands in August of 2019. And my plan, because I was practicing in the US, licensed, certified, et cetera, was to continue to coach some of my clients from the US virtually, but then also to teach live workshops and to share my experience and knowledge in neurorehabilitation specifically. While I was here in Europe. That obviously was spoiled by the pandemic. I've had a few live opportunities to teach and to share my experiences with other vet rehabbers, but I've kind of pivoted and done a bit more work on virtual webinars and more theoretical and research-based, but relating to manual skills and therapeutic exercise, et cetera, and doing a bit more coaching of peers, so other vet rehabbers, and sharing my experience with them and lending them a hand in managing their cases.
I mean, obviously for us, webinars is our thing. So webinars and doing online is awesome, but there are certain things, right? Especially like the topics that you're covering, therapeutic exercise and manual therapies, that's not so hard to teach on a webinar. How have you found that shift from, planning to do live workshops now to having to try and move over onto online?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge manually. A lot of my background is in neurorehabilitation and specifically using facilitation techniques to facilitate recovery and facilitate return to function. And so I can talk about those techniques, I can demonstrate those techniques, I can show and share videos of those techniques, but there is nothing to replace the actual experience of putting your hands on and feeling the changes, in the body, in the muscle, and then responding to those changes in the pet, in the patient, as they're recovering and as their nervous system is reintegrating. So rather than trying to relate that experience online, I stepped back and I said, okay, so let's look at the science. Let's look at the art of neurorehabilitation, neuroplasticity, the sensory components of rehab, manual therapy, et cetera, and present that by webinar. So that way, when I am doing those live workshops, my colleagues and I, working in those workshops, we are on the same page. So we're at the same level with regards to the research and understanding of the basic science. And then we can really dive in deep to these facilitation and manual therapy techniques.
Great. And have you got plans? I mean, is there anything live you have booked that you're holding thumbs is going to happen?
Oh, yeah, it's almost comical. My friends in Norway, I feel for them because they were the first to book me last spring, and we've had to reschedule, I think, 3 times. But we're hoping to do a workshop. I think it's a 4-day workshop in Norway in October. I have another in Belgium, and then I believe in Sweden as well. So I'm booking up the fall and then looking to the spring as well. So my time here in Europe is limited, and so I'm hoping to, pass the message along and share with people while I'm here, because it's certainly more convenient for them to have me and to host me, when I'm nearby. So,
What are the plans? When do you go back to the States?
oh, well, it depends on who you ask in the family. So my husband would like to stay here forever. My daughter will be starting high school in another year. So she obviously would like to return to the States for her high school experience. And, I'm honestly happy to go where I need to go. I do miss a lot of the hands-on experience that I've had in working with patients on a daily basis and working with families. But I'm able to advise my peers, and to be honest with you, I'm actually able to impact more pets and pet parents virtually and through consulting than I would if I were just out there on my own. So that in itself is rewarding. I sometimes have to remind myself of that.
So you're doing a few things. I mean, one of the things is you're doing sort of online consultations, virtual consultations for pet parents, and then you've also started this coaching thing, which we're going to get into. Let's dive a little bit into the online consultations. How do you find those clients? How does it? Just give us a rundown of how it works.
Yeah, many of them. It's been through word of mouth, obviously, sometimes social media too. I have extensive experience in animal rehab, but specifically in neuro rehab. And so some of those more challenging cases, sometimes the owners are seeking me out. Sometimes it's the physiotherapists and vet rehabbers who are asking for a little more help in advising. What I found is that I can help best by, analyzing movement and making suggestions with regards to quality of movement and improvement in quality. It's really difficult to teach someone who may not be skilled in manual therapies how to do any type of manual therapy. But I found that the most successful cases that we've had have had, a vet rehabber on the ground intervening regularly, me on the side kind of coaching and advising from my perspective, and then obviously the owner handler. I've had quite a few clients that I've advised back in the States with regards to sports medicine. And, honestly, the relationship of the vet rehabber and the client, it tends to be lifelong for that pet. And, they have bumps and lumps, and they have, issues with jumping and faults and recurrent injuries. And so many times they're reaching out to me to advise them as to the next step. When it's outside of my capabilities, I'm handing off to, a skilled practitioner back home. So it's actually worked out very, very well. And it's been wonderful to be able to maintain that relationship with clients that I previously worked with live.
So you've got clients from all over the world.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting. Those clients that I worked with before, it's sometimes really easy to just jump back in. Those newer clients who don't know me from the person next door that they've never actually spoken to, it's an interesting relationship that we develop. It can be, to be honest with you, can be very exhausting working with a client online. But I look at what I do as being kind of a concierge type of service, or I don't want to say a case manager because I really can't from the ground, but, directing them with regards to who to consult, who to look for, bridging that gap for them, and then being available to them between appointments, and kind of lending an extra hand, an extra set of eyes to problems that they might be encountering at home.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you're literally there as a support for them.
Absolutely.
Needed.
Absolutely.
So the rest of your time you're spending on basically coaching and mentoring vet rehabbers. How did you start that?
It's kind of funny. I've always been obviously a learner, but also a teacher. So when I was a new physiotherapist, I became a clinical instructor, teaching other physiotherapists the ropes, both in human rehab as well as in canine rehabilitation. And so I taught previously for one of the certification programs in the States, and did lectures around the world. And I found that I've always come back to, sharing my knowledge, sharing my skills and experience. And so that transition to a one-on-one experience was actually fairly natural. And to be honest with you, I actually enjoy it quite a bit. Even with all the Facebook groups that are out there and listservs and things, I find that one-on-one approach is more meaningful, and we can really get very personal and very honest with each other when we're having that one-on-one conversation. So it was a fairly easy transition. I just recently jumped into doing some group coaching, and that in itself is super rewarding. Not just from that one-on-one perspective, but sharing within the group, and then what that group gives back to me, that energy and knowledge and experience as well, is it's priceless.
I mean, mentorship is something that the online pet health team encourages so much. So we have our mentorship program. Why do you think it's so important that, we mentor other vet rehabbers?
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, I've come full circle in animal rehabilitation. I've been in the field for over 20 years, and really seeing some ups and downs with regards to the field, but seeing how it's growing is fabulous. And I feel like we're so connected online. There are so many of us out there, but at the same time, when I'm in Boston and working in the clinic or working in a client's home, I'm all alone. And I'm basing my decisions on my knowledge, on my experience, on my skills. And I'm also basing it on my own mentorship or peer group that I've created. And so I feel like it's really important for all of us to have that safe place to go to ask questions. So whether it's a previous instructor or a good friend from a course or a workshop, or just someone you've even met online, someone who you can bounce ideas off of, just to reassure you that you're making the right decisions, being really confident in your knowledge and experience. And, what I've taught my mentees and my peers is that, rather than making excuses or apologizing for the decisions that we make, I want them to own it. I want them to own their knowledge, own their experience, own their skills as their area of expertise, and really get out there and share it. We can only learn from each other if we share our knowledge and experience, and our field won't grow unless we share it.
Yeah, and I think also we have, vet rehabbers are so unique in that we have so many people coming from different professions. And so everyone has something to offer. So we're all about sharing. So we absolutely love it. One of the things, I know within our mentorship program is there are a lot of vet rehabbers out there that have so much knowledge to share, but not necessarily the confidence to be able to. So they think they should be a mentee, not necessarily a mentor. And it's interesting, so we find that there are some people that are both mentees and mentors. So they're mentors to certain people, but then they have their own mentor, which is often what you need. We often need our own mentors. Did you always have the confidence, in your ability to be able to teach and coach, to be a mentor? Or is this something that has grown over time?
Well, I think it's something that's grown over time, but I think a lot of that confidence is built by getting feedback from others. I can throw out some crazy ideas and things that I've learned and experienced through my own clinical experiences. And, you know, unless I share that experience and share the outcomes that I've found, then, I don't get that feedback that it's worth anything. And so, I think by creating these communities and by sharing our experiences and sharing our knowledge and skills, we're getting that feedback. We're building that confidence in that we can share these crazy ideas that really might amount to something. And why not? I think above all, if we're doing this for the greater good, for the good of the pet and the pet parent, for the good of the field, and we're trying new things and sharing our experiences, it's not going to work 100% of the time, but and it's based in science, it's based in our own experiences. I think we're going to take it very far. So I think the key is definitely sharing within a community that you find comfortable and accepting, whether it's one-on-one or a very large community, what have you. So, I think that's definitely the way to go.
One of the things you said is that how much you enjoy it, doing this mentoring and coaching. And one of the things that I found is that, I think in the beginning, when I thought about mentoring, I thought about, me helping other people, but I didn't realize how much it actually benefited myself and how much I gained. Have you found the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I think back to some of the early sports medicine clients that I worked with and not knowing anything about field trial and, having them take me under their wing and show me what it looked like and what the requirements were and taking me to a trial so that I could observe firsthand. And then, putting it all together and looking at things from different perspectives through different eyes, I think it is so meaningful. And so it does, it kind of all builds, one on another. And again, it's about owning your knowledge and your skills and your experience and sharing with others, and then building from there. I think we always have to question ourselves. Are we doing the right thing at the right time, in the right setting? And, coming back to the research and then using that sounding board of our community, and learning more from each other, I think is certainly key.
What are the biggest challenges you find vet rehabbers are facing at the moment that they need guidance with?
I think a lot of it is what's next. It's taking that step with regards to progressing therapy, progressing activity. And then when do you let them fly? Like, when do you let the pet go back to sport or back to activity? And, we always talk about injury prevention. And, if anyone has ever heard me speak, I'd say injury prevention really is, it's one of those terms that I don't use, because we can't help what happens, right? Sometimes it's fate, it's an accident, and it's called an accident for a reason. In that, as vet rehabbers, we really are preparing the body to tolerate and withstand the forces and the stresses that are on it every day. So, so making that bridge from rehab to sport, from rehab to life again, is a huge step and a really big step. We need to know that the tissues are ready, that the body is ready, that mentally everything is in place, to be able to let them fly and let them jump and let them run again. So, I feel like it's a baby step, but it's a huge, gigantic step too. So I think that treatment planning and progression is a big challenge.
And the vet rehabbers that you're mentoring, I mean, are they new graduates or are they people that have been in the field for a while? Or is
No,
there
there's a mix. There are some that are brand new into the field, and then there are others with tons of experience. I think one thing that is very interesting is, how our minds open to the experiences of others. And so even learning from other physiotherapists around the world or even within my own country, I'm going to always learn something new. I've learned so much from veterinary nurses, from veterinarians, from hydrotherapists, because, we all have our area of expertise. And again, we own that knowledge in that area of expertise. And if we share it, we're going to open new doors and new opportunities. And for me to understand those things that are going on, in those other rooms and those other doors, that's going to help me help my client and help my pet patient that much more efficiently and effectively. So.
Yeah, I love it. So that our hashtag is vet rehabbers, hashtag never stop learning. And that's
Absolutely.
what it's
So true.
So what are the biggest lessons that you've learned from your mentees?
I'd say the first one is keep it simple. We get overwhelmed so easily, I think, when we're encountering something that's a bit challenging. The other thing that I've learned is to just kind of step back and look before you leap, right? Observe and hold back comment and take it all in. And then process all that information and then come to a decision. The other thing is too, we're not going to learn anything by holding ourselves out to being successful every time. I've learned a lot and studied a lot about motor learning, and we have this saying where we say perfect practice makes perfect. Well, in actuality, we can't learn unless we make mistakes, but we have to learn from those mistakes and why those mistakes are made so that we can really take the next step in learning. And that goes for learning new movements, learning new skills, and learning new knowledge.
Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Don't make them again. Learn from them. If you could give any advice to a vet rehabber that's maybe feeling a bit isolated, feeling unsure of themselves, lacking confidence, I see that a lot in our community. What would you give them? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think, it's reach out, find your group, find those people that you feel comfortable with, you feel open with. Some people are happy to just air it all out, just get it out there, throw it out on a group or a bulletin board or whatever, and just expose themselves. Others are better in a one-on-one experience, or whether it's online or on the phone or video or in person, and so I think it's find that group, find those people who make you comfortable, who allow you to ask those questions without judgment, and who are willing to go that extra mile to give you feedback or advise you in that direction. And I think something to be said about years of experience in the field or age or whatever that is, or background, whether it's a hydrotherapist or physiotherapist, veterinary nurse or veterinarian, I think we're somewhat judgmental with regards to our background and experience. And I think there are some people who are brand new in this field who have the most amazing ideas and experiences, and they're so excited and enthusiastic about growing the field and growing their body of knowledge that they're probably some of the best people to use as that support group, or that person to be a confidant to, or to mentor and to have a mentee relationship with.
Yeah, and I also want to say to all you vet rehabbers that you guys are not alone. Like, we're here for you. Please, you can reach out to us anytime at Online Pet Health. And also, Amie, I'm going to invite you now to join us on the last Friday of every month for the Coffee with Megan. So from vet rehabbers all over the world, you guys can always come and join them. The details are all on the Online Pet Health Facebook page. Otherwise, you can always reach out to me. My email is meg@onlinepethealth.com. You guys are not alone. I will either try and help you myself or pass you on to wonderful people like Amie who can help you. Amie, let's chat about your program that you're doing now. I know that you're busy with one right now, but you're planning on another 6-week program of coaching in October. So if there are any vet rehabbers out there that are interested, we will put all the details in the description. Why don't you just tell everyone your website address and a little bit about that 6-week program?
Absolutely. Well, the program is called Empower Physio Empowerment Team. and thinking team as being comprehensive and cohesive. And there's really not one team leader or coach. Though what I do is coaching and mentoring. I have found, like you said, Megan, that I get so much out of it that, I'm learning from every single person on this team. But what I've created is a very small group, coaching group, and it's focusing on clinical skills. And it's very focused on what the group determines to be, maybe missing, maybe a skill that they need to work on a bit more. I've got my whole bag of tricks that I'm willing to share and prepared to share, but we're working through processes together. We're looking at videos together. We're analyzing biomechanics. We're developing, treatment programs and protocols and looking at the research. And then, just getting together and meeting each other, as face-to-face as we can, through the miles and, via video, but really working towards developing those relationships. And so, it's a 6-week program. Some are newer to the field, some have been around for a long time. Everyone's from a different background. And, I had people reach out to me through my Teachable site, which is my online, I guess you could say, library of courses and resources and things that I've been able to offer. And that's Empower Physio at teachable.com or empowerphysio.teachable.com, or through my website, which is empowerphysiopet.com. And I'm more than happy to address emails, or if people reach out by Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, whatever it is. There's so many different methods by which we can communicate. It's sometimes hard to keep them straight, but we have to go where it's comfortable and convenient for us to go. If you can take a video quickly and send it off to me and I can give you feedback, in real time, then we all win in the end, especially if you're isolated and you're on your own without a lot of feedback. It's a really great place to go and get the feedback and build that team that you need.
So if you didn't catch those websites, we will put them all in the description. For one more question, Amie. So when you said 6 weeks, what is the commitment on a weekly basis? I mean, are you meeting up for an hour or two on Zoom? Like, can you give us a little bit more sort of idea of how often you meet up, how you're meeting up, how you're communicating?
Yeah, we're utilizing Facebook, but we're also utilizing Teachable, and we're utilizing Zoom. I have some meetups, maybe 2 scheduled per week, but none of them are mandatory. They're really wide open. It's nice that we can record and share after the fact. And the Teachable courses are all very self-paced. What's nice also is that, we can offer each other feedback directly through Teachable community, or through our Facebook group. So, everyone is busy, and a lot of people who are looking to work on their clinical skills, they're working independently, they're trying to run a business at the same time. So it's difficult to commit a lot of time. I would say all in all, it's probably, 3 to 4 hours per week. Not a huge amount, but at the same time, there's access to a lot of that information and those resources for long term. So, and I think what is priceless about that experience is the network that's built. These people who didn't know each other from all ends of the earth, from all different backgrounds and experiences, coming together and having a shared experience, and then hopefully leaving with that new network, with that new peer group who can help them down the road. So I feel really grateful that when I was a new physio, when I was new in working in canine rehabilitation, I had a small but mighty group that I could lean on. And I still lean on that group today, 20 years later. None of us has aged a bit, but we're closer together, whether we see each other in person or just over a video camera.
Love it, Amie. And thank you so much for what you're doing for the community. It's really great. So I just want to say thank you for all your time. It's been wonderful chatting to you. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you live again sometime
Imagine
soon.
that.
Yeah.
I hope so, Megan. It was great to see you again, and so happy to share my experiences with everyone. I'm really hopeful for this group for the future, not just today, but, 5 years from now, I think we'll be in a different place, in a better place, and, more cohesive as a field. It's a really exciting time to be working in veterinary rehabilitation.
It is. Thanks so much, Amie. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Megan. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. And please, if you get a moment, head over to Stitcher or iTunes and leave me a review. It's a really lonely job being a podcaster, and so the only time I get to hear from you or know that you're out there is when I get a review. And know that I read every single one of your reviews. So to those of you that have left reviews, I want to say a very, very big thank you. Every time we get a review, it really helps to get the veterinary rehabilitation podcast out there to all the vet rehabbers all over the world. All right, vet rehabbers, so if you are looking for more continuing education in the field of veterinary rehabilitation, head over to onlinepethhealth.com. Go be awesome, guys.